Hello, everybody. Welcome to November monthly meeting.
All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Monica Wainscott. I'm a digital learning coach at Beechwood.
I'm Jason Reed. I'm a digital learning coach for Marshall County Schools.
I'm Lauren Rata. I'm a digital learning coach in Oldham County Schools.
And I'm Kelly Fisher, a digital learning coach in Fayette County Public Schools.
Yeah.
And I'm David Allen. I'm a certified Google trainer. I am not a digital learning coach anymore, though. Sorry.
That's okay. All right. We're super excited to have you here today. So that is our team, and we are missing Sarah Schartzer, and she will hopefully be with us in the next few months to join us for our meetings and our trainings. So if you're looking to join any of our group links, we have a Twitter account. We have a YouTube channel, which is what you're on now. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have our website where we keep some of our information. We have a Facebook group, and we have a Google group where you can send emails and ask questions. Anytime that you have any kind of Google question for the group or way that you want to use Google in your classroom or whatever, just email us and we're happy to get back with you. If you have any questions today during the meeting, David, if you go to that next slide, if you have any questions during today's meeting or would like to have a question later on, maybe you watch this later, just post it in our back channel document and we will get back to you as soon as we read it. So we do check that later. So go ahead and feel free to post your questions in there and we will be happy to get back with you on that. So Lauren is going to go through our Google updates for this month. So Lauren.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. So as always, there are many updates for, it still says G Suite, but I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to call it Google Workspace updates probably from now on. As always, you're probably wondering, where can I find these updates? So you don't have to wait till our monthly meetings. If you would like to follow these, please feel free to go to the gsuiteupdates.googleblog.com. And what I really love about this blog is it informs you day by day on all the changing things to G Suite or Workspace. Also, what I really enjoy is it not only tells you the updates, but it tells you who it impacts, whether it's a teacher, an administrator, IT, how you can use that update, as well as how to get started with the changes and even the availability by device and additional resources. And so check that out in between our meetings if you want to know day by day what updates are available. So let's look at just a few updates from our last meeting in October until today, currently on the 9th. Go on to that next slide for me, David. Thank you. The first one I just kind of mentioned is you will notice that G Suite is now calling themselves Google Workspace. There's a couple of reasons for this. And I guess probably what you've noticed most probably that looks different are your icons. And so you might notice that Google Docs
Okay, looks like we lost Lauren again with her internet. See if she's back yet. There she is. She's back.
I'm sorry. Internet, right? So the icons do look a little bit different. You may notice, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
There we go. So you might notice your icons look a little bit different, and that's normal. So I know you might have to walk your students and other teachers through this, that it's still that same G Suite look and feel. It just looks, the icons a little bit different, as well as they're just calling it Workspace. But they kind of felt like with the new features that they have where you'll notice it's more integrated, it also helps to reflect that brand new identity. So they kind of wanted a little bit of a change. And so those are some of the reasons for that new name for G Suite to now Google Workspace. Next, you may have noticed if you are what we call that enterprise for education users, that means your district has paid for that, that you have breakout rooms. So you have those little new icons up there at the top of Google Meet. That might be something you're interested in using. It kind of looks like little shapes, and it gives you that way to kind of make sure you're having those small groups within one large Google Meet and still helping you to monitor that. The next update I want to mention is the new Google Groups is now going to be the only option starting tomorrow. So it just kind of has a new look and feel. So previously, you were able to still go and still use that old version. And literally, it starts tomorrow on the 10th. You'll notice when you go there, that's all that you'll see. So if you want to click on that link to see how it's changed to help you navigate Google Groups, make sure you do that. The fourth update I want to talk about is the default video playback option in Google Slides. And so now when you go to Slides, you'll notice that it automatically, when you are in present mode, plays that video. If you want that changed, then you need to ensure that when you click on the embedded video, that you go up to that formatting and the options and you can make those changes. But just be aware that as soon as you're in present mode, that video will automatically play. For most of us, that's probably what we want it to do. But if not, make sure you go to those changes. So click on that icon to learn more, or that link to learn more about that. The next I was very excited about as a free user, that a new option is replacing your backgrounds in Google Meet. So this first rolled out to my workstation, I would say my desktop full version. And then it came out onto my different applications on an iPad or a phone. Also on my Chromebook, it showed up. So now I am able to be at the beach to host the meeting, or be in a different modern office. And so that might be something that you enjoy using with your students and faculty. So look for that new replace backgrounds in Google Meet. And last but not least, accepting Knox and bulk in Google Meet is now available. I know that was a great feature for privacy and security to have people knock that are outside your organization, or students maybe that you kicked out. But now you don't have to accept one at a time. You can accept those in mass quantity. So that's less disruptive for instruction. So if you want to find out more information about that, click on that link about accepting Knox and bulk in Google Meet. So that all of that is not all of the updates. Those are just the few that we wanted to mention this month.
Okay, this month we also thought that we would spend some time talking about Google Jamboard, because we all feel like Jamboard is like the forgotten child of G Suite. Most of my teachers don't even realize it's a thing. It is there in your new button from your Google Drive, but oftentimes I take this and show it to my teachers and they say, oh, I didn't even know that existed. So we thought we would focus on this a little bit because it is a really nice tool for distance learning. And we probably are all doing a little bit of distance learning in some fashion right now. So first of all, when I introduce this to my teachers always say, you know, I've never heard of that. And basically a Jamboard really is, there's a physical device that is a Jamboard, like the smart board in your building or, you know, attached to your wall. Jamboard created an interactive whiteboard, and it was very expensive. And I don't know any teachers that had the budget to buy that, but luckily the software that goes with their physical device is free and is integrated into your Google Drive. And so, you know, if you are a smartboard user, then your smart notebook software, this is kind of Google's version of smart notebook. So first of all, everything that you do is automatically saved to your Google Drive. It works in your browser. You don't have to install any software unless if you are on a phone or an iPad, you would install an app. That's the only install that you would need to do. Google files are shared in the exact same way that you would do with any other Google Doc or Google Sheet or any Googly file. And of course, like I just said, it's also available on iPad and iOS. And strangely, if you use the iOS app, it actually has more features than the Google Chrome version, which doesn't make sense to me. But here we go. Let's get started. I'm just going to walk you through a few of the items step by step. Now, if you do ever want this slideshow for your own, you can get to it from the bit.ly here, bit.ly/read Jamboard. So what I love about everything Google is that they are very similar in their structure. So if I want to create a new Jamboard, I love to go to my Google Drive first. Now, Google Jamboard is hiding under the More, and then I could go to Jamboard. So again, Google Drive, New, More, Jamboard. And here it comes. It looks just like a whiteboard. It has that same naming convention where it's untitled until you change it. So I have a lot of things that are called untitled on my Google Drive on accident. And that easy, you're ready to jam. And that is all saved right there on your Google Drive. So everything's automatically saved for you. Now, of course, there are multiple ways to do everything. I always, when I'm doing a training, I say, I make my Google Drive my homepage, and that way I can use that new button from there. Love it. Oh, somebody loves it in Oldham County. Very nice. For some reason, I really don't like waffles, like as a food, but I also don't love the waffle on my Google Drive. Some of my teachers love it, but you could also waffle over to Jamboard if waffle is a verb, but you have to scroll around to find Jamboard, which again is exactly the same thing as typing in jamboard.google.com. And now the new button is hiding down at the bottom right. So you can see all the jams that you have, but down at the bottom, you could create a new one. So multiple ways to do that from your Google Drive, from your waffle, or just jamboard.google.com. Any one of those ways will create a jam for you. Then this is a very interesting feature that was added maybe a month ago, and it rolled out at different times depending on your Google domain, but Google Meet has now integrated Jamboard. So if you are in a Google Meet with your class, if you hit the little snowman button in the bottom right, Jamboard is now an option. You can either open an existing one or you can create one on the fly with that button, and it will automatically share that Jamboard with every member of your Google Meet and put the link into that chat. So it's very easy for you to get students over onto that tab and begin jamming together. Now, why would you want to jam together? Well, hopefully we're going to show you that with some of these tools. First of all, like a true whiteboard, when you are jamming, you have all sorts of ink pens that you can use and markers. So there at the top left of that toolbar, you can just start drawing. Now, if you click kind of that arrow or click it again, then you get different options. You have pen, marker, which all have different thicknesses and different looks, and you have a few colors you can choose from as well. So it's not super customizable, but you do have different options to decorate your whiteboard with. And so if you want a thicker pen, you would choose the marker instead of the pen. But unfortunately, there's not a setting where you can say, I want a 5-point thickness. It's all built into the different types of markers that you pick up. Now, that, of course, is infinitely easier when you have a touchscreen. I was probably drawing with a mouse in that video, so don't judge my mouse handwriting. But I will say this, my niece is in high school and is a virtual student and is trying to survive Algebra 2 on Play-Doh, which I taught math for 15 years, and we're in this together. So at least 2 or 3 nights a week, I'm on my couch on my touchscreen Chromebook, jamming with her to work out math problems, and it's beautiful if you're a math teacher. Okay, what we're going to do next, I want to show you what this would look like to a teacher working with their students. So my fake class out there is going to help me out. They are going to hop on my Jamboard here. And all I did is I gave them a link so that they can all hop into this same file. And in a very Google fashion, I have given them all edit rights. And so here it comes. They're going to show off for me right now. And they are going to draw a smiley face, probably with their mouse. Look, don't judge their mouse drawing skills. Oh, that's very nice. So again, as a teacher, all of my class can be in here at the same time, doodling, brainstorming, collaborating. And I think this is also, I'm impressed by these art skills. I think this is also something, of course, it's great for distance learning. In our district right now, we have students that are virtual students and in-person students. Our in-person students can't be near each other, cannot work in groups, can't breathe their respiratory droplets on each other. So I keep telling my teachers, this is a wonderful tool to make the kids feel collaborative again, even though they're all 6 feet apart, socially distanced. Very, very nice. I've got the best class. Look at these art skills. Okay, so one interesting thing is that you can have multiple pages. So it's just like a whiteboard, except for now I could have multiple whiteboards, right? So you don't have to erase what you've done to make room for something else. So let me show you how that works with the pages. Up at the very top, you can see I'm on page 3 of 3. If I click that box, that shows me all the pages that I have, and I can cheat and sneak a page in between some of the existing pages if I would like. And then I just use that to navigate my different pages. The great thing is you can, of course, go back and forth with arrows. What I do love is that you could set things up in advance. You could set up several pages that you want the kids to doodle on or brainstorm on, and it's beautiful. Yes, Kelly, the AI pen is so cool. It can guess what you're trying to draw, which is really amazing. And you can also duplicate pages or trash them. So if you set up a template, perhaps you wanted every student to work on the same kind of template, almost like a worksheet, you could set up one page and duplicate it for multiple kids. So one thing that I don't love is that I can't control what page the students are on. I just have to tell them, go to page 2. So that's one thing I don't totally love about it. But also you can change backdrops, and all of my math teacher friends love the fact that I can put grid paper on there very easily. So you can also, of course, do text. So if you are, on a computer that is not a touchscreen device and you are tired of drawing with your mouse, the good news is you can put Post-it notes or sticky notes. I guess Post-it note is a term I shouldn't use. A sticky note is not a copyrighted term, perhaps, but you'll see your sticky notes over there on the left. Control-Shift-P will also give you a sticky note. Once it shows up, you can change what color your note is, and you just begin to type and then save. The strange thing, this always throws my teachers for a loop. When they hit save, this does not go away, this little box. So you can cancel to get out of it once you've got your note on there. Of course, you can move those around and resize and rotate. If you would rather have a clear background and you don't want it to look like a Post-it note, that's an option as well. And so these Post-its are just a great way, in my opinion, to have students hop in and drop notes around to help with the brainstorming. They can label items. They can do all sorts of things with those Post-its. And so it makes it very Padlet-esque. If you've ever used Padlet, you could really do the same type of thing with a Jamboard if you prefer that. And this is a newer feature. If you want text in there that is not a Post-it, now there is a text box that did not used to be an option. So that little T down there, you can draw your text box. And really, it's the same thing, except for you have more control over its dimensions and its setup. Here, I can mess with the text color. I can change the formatting a little more. So with a Post-it note or a sticky note, you were stuck with those dimensions. It was square, and you couldn't adjust the color or the font. With the snowman option, you can also duplicate or delete and move those around. So let's try this. We're going to come back to our Jamboard. I'm going to show you what it would look like to a teacher. Now, again, the thing I don't love is that I would have to say, okay, kids, I would like for you to move to page 2. And I have to move to page 2 to see what they're doing. So if I stayed on page 1, I wouldn't be able to see kind of what they're doodling or how they're brainstorming. So all of my students out there are going to hop on. Oh, look at this. And I can watch them work in real time. Now, if they're signed in, you will see their icon here, or their initial or their profile picture. So I can watch them. Now, my students are they're not paying enough attention. Come on, students. Let's label a continent there. Oh, look at that. Very nice. Here comes South America. And so all of them they would see each other working, add those in, click and drag, which is beautiful. Whoever was North America, they were smart. They hopped in and got the easy one, Very nice. So I think the most important and the most amazing digital tools are the ones that are just simple enough to be very flexible. And so what I love about Jamboard is, you can write on it. It can be a whiteboard, but it's also flexible. You can do all sorts of activities with those. Okay. Now with my students, I'm going to ask all of my students, that was a beautiful job labeling. I'm going to have you go to page 3 for me. And this is a little template I set. It's not a fancy template. It's a little template I set up, though, where I put the Post-its and I would number you off. So I might say, Kelly, you're on Post-it 1. Monica, you're on Post-it 2. Lauren, you're on 3. And we're going to have a virtual discussion. And this is where it becomes very Padlet-like. So very nice. I can see who is using what Post-it. Of course, they can move those and resize them if they need to. And also, if you are teaching virtually, this allows kind of a less chaotic discussion where everybody's not muting or unmuting and screaming, and you don't have to hear the TV in the background. You might kind of have a silent auction. You're having a silent discussion with your students. Okay. Now, of course, it's not just handwriting and text. You can also add images very easily. You can add images from your Drive or from a Google search. So, of course, the little mountain range always means image. And I love that you have all those options, very googly, just like doing it in a Google slide. You can grab your Drive, search the web, whatever you need. Now, as it inserts, of course, you can also drag and drop and resize and rotate. I also love, of course, when you do a Google image search that's embedded, it is automatically filtered to only show images that are Creative Commons licensed. So you're not accidentally being an image thief when you use that feature. Now, one thing I don't love is that there is no lockdown feature. So back in the day when I used Smart Notebook, I could lock things down so that they couldn't go anywhere. That's not a feature in Jamboard, so anything that's on there is up for grabs. They could move or drag or accidentally delete. And I'll show you a quick trick, a hack to kind of get around that momentarily. Another new feature is the shape feature. So I can add, by default, it is on circle, click and drag, and you have a few formatting options. You can't adjust the thickness of the line, but you can do the fill color as well as the border color. So really, with these tools, you could design any kind of template. You could have digital manipulatives for kids. These might be counting discs or whatever. Of course, you can also use that button there to change what type of shape you would like. You can copy, paste, resize. And then the snowman button has more options as far as adjusting the depth. So you could copy, you could also send something to the back or bring it to the front. So really simple options for designing something that you could send out to your students. Okay, so we're going to try, of course, the moving and rotating, you've been seeing those as I'm doing that. The only strange thing is the rotation handle is the top left corner of whatever it is. If you grab that, then you're rotating it. The resize is the bottom right corner. So that is a little unique. Okay, so we're going to try this. I'm going to go back to my Jamboard. Now here is oh look, they're already here for me. Look at this. I designed this template. I just threw some pictures of frames and I asked my students to put images in those frames to describe how they feel about Jamboard. So sometimes you can give them a little guidance about where you want them to place things, because it is kind of like herding cats when they all get in there and start to put things the way you want them. So you might put Post-its or text boxes or just squares so that they kind of know where they are going to do these items. Now, what I will say is anything on here is up for grabs. So that picture frame, for example, the kids could have moved that or changed that or deleted that. And that may be what you wanted. You might actually want the students to be able to move those around. Oh, here comes, oh, my students keep working. Look at that. Beautiful. This is the best class ever. Right. And so I just like that I've given them a little guidance about where I want them to place their items. So it's not just totally willy-nilly. Now I'm going to back up real quick and I'm going to give you a pro hack that might come in handy. Now my students are still on slide 4. You can see them there. I'm going to move over to slide 2. Now here, the world map, I don't want them to move that world map. And what I have done is I've cheated and I put a big transparent square over top of that map. So when they click on it, now they can notice this, but that's just a big transparent square. So if they accidentally drag something, they're accidentally dragging kind of like something I don't care about them dragging. So they have to work a little harder to mess up my template. Now they can still do that, right? But if you wanted to lay over some protection for your beautiful template, what I would do is switch to 25% view, come over here and grab this shape and draw a square. Maybe. Oh, I already have it transparent. I'm going to Let's try this again. Square. I want a gray fill color. Now I'm going to put it here, and it's a little moody about resizing. I'm just going to make it very large and resize it so it covers the entire thing, and then just switch it to transparent. And so the kids don't really know that that's over top of it, but it slows them down from messing up your template. So that's just a little genius hack. Now, of course, you can collaborate and share just like anything else in Google. Of course, you always want to make sure you're giving people the right access, but very easy to fix. You have that big blue share button, just like anything else Googly. Of course, I can put in people's email addresses. Always double check those permissions and what do I want this person to do to my Jamboard, view or edit. Now, if I'm using this in class, I very rarely share by email. I will typically turn on link sharing and just say anybody that gets this link can be an editor. And that's exactly what I've done with my class today. I just switched that to link sharing, and I put that link into my presentation so they could get to it. Of course, you don't have to use the link sharing option. You could also post it into Classroom, and it works beautifully with Google Classroom if you're a Google Classroom user. Exactly like anything else Googly, I hit the attach button. I go find that from my Google Drive, and I have those three options. Do I want the students just to look at this? Do I want all the students to edit collaboratively? That's a tongue twister. That would be the second option there. And the third option is every student gets their own version, almost like a worksheet. So I love that you can use it in multiple ways there as well, integrated with Google Classroom. And if you really, really need to save this forever, or you want to print out pictures of it, you can also download as a PDF from your snowman button in the top right. Now, I'm not going to make my my classes use this feature, but if I were doing this in class, I might have the students all make their own Jamboard, do their brainstorming, and a great way to collect work is just to make, I learned that on TikTok. I didn't make that up. So, you know, all the answers are really out there. You just have to find them sometimes. But I think a great way to have kids share anything and to feel collaborative and make a gallery walk with your work in any Google type environment is I always just make a spreadsheet, give everyone editing rights, and ask them to drop their Google link there. And so with your students, you always want to like hang up their work or show off. And sometimes when it's digital, you kind of feel like you've stolen that from them, that you can't have a nice gallery. But this is a great way just to be like, okay, now whatever you've made, kids, hop in here, put your link, and then everybody can show off immediately. So I call that a digital gallery walk. Okay, and then I'm going to hand it over to Kelly. That is the how-to. That's how all the tools work. And I'm going to hand it over to Kelly so she can talk about the why and why you would use this in your classroom.
Thanks, Jason. So the link that Jason shared with you earlier of his slide deck has everything on it that I'm getting ready to show you. So many different ways that you can use Jamboard in your classroom. I just wanted to walk through a few simple ideas just to get you excited, maybe spark a new idea. And as you use this in your classroom, I hope you will tweet it, tag us, and let us see the great work that you are doing. This is just one example of a primary Jamboard where you can create drag and drop activities. So I just popped in these little shapes and used some text to tell my students what I want them to do. I clicked on the little mountain image and just added in some base 10 blocks. And maybe first I want my students to draw. Let's pretend that the equation of the day is 2 + 2. So maybe they know that they have to draw. And then they can even use the pen tool to write. And again, it's hard to write with a mouse. And then they can even come back and then just drag and drop their base 10 blocks over. So again, just really quick drag and drop activities. A lot of our primary teachers use the template like this, and they will shoot it out through Google Classroom, just like Jason showed, and they will give each student their own copy. So just a quick and easy way to create drag and drop activities for your kiddos. Another example, I just added a new Post-it note. It's as simple as this. Add a Post-it note, type a letter, even change the color, and it now pops up on my board. So my kids can now practice with their spelling words or vocabulary words. Or in this example, the students can practice with their IG words, their IG words. So I could just practice this and practice saying this at the same time that I'm building. So one thing, I'm not sure if Jason mentioned, but you can change the background. So this is a great way to differentiate and just to make your words stand out. So I can change the background color. Notice there's also one with the dots, great for math. I could also change the background to just plain or lined paper. So take advantage of that as well. Another example, vocabulary. Always looking for new and creative ways to work with vocabulary rather than just worksheets. So just a quick example, I put the vocabulary words in and then also used the Post-it notes to type in quick definitions. So my students could match up their vocabulary words. If the words allow for it, if you feel brave, you could even let them go to the images and do an image search to add an image to go along with their vocabulary word. This also is great for foreign language classes, as well as, oh goodness, the possibilities are endless. Another example, think about all the other tools that you have over on the side. So this teacher just asked their students to come up to the highlighter tool and just to mark the nouns with the highlighter tool. So you could do this with any kind of passages. One of the questions I'm asked most as a digital learning coach is, how do I turn a PDF into a worksheet? Well, I would rather you turn a PDF into something exciting, so maybe Jamboard can give you some ideas with that. Another quick example, labeling diagrams. Just found this quick image of the water cycle and popped in some shapes for my students just to come in and label. You could do this with anything. This is an example that my daughter did at the beginning of the year. Her teacher wanted them to find a digital way to do an All About Me poster. So she just inserted images and Post-it notes to tell a little bit about herself. But imagine all the other possibilities this has in the classroom. Maybe your students are reading a book and you want them to do a chapter summary. Instead of just writing 500 words for you to read, they could make a visual representation of their chapter this way. And again, the examples I've shown so far are pretty individual, but Jamboard is meant to be collaborative as well. We were just reading the one and only Ivan, and I wanted to gather character traits about Stella. And so I just asked my students to pop on quickly with a Post-it note and give me a character trait. Again, you could do this with so many quick ideas in your classroom to gather feedback from all of your students. Let all students have a voice. Another example is just a 6-word story. So instead of just writing the words down, students could actually decorate it by adding backgrounds, by adding images, just making it a little more colorful. So again, some of these are very simple, but in Jason's slides, there are all of these awesome templates that I hope you will get lost in. Different templates that everyone is sharing and giving access for you to just copy or make your own copy and use these with your students. So you will see there is an amazing collection here. So I hope you will check that out. These first 3, actually 4 at the top, are great templates and ideas, other ideas of how to use this tool with your current lessons. And some I had never even thought of myself. I also wanted to point out these 2. This one actually goes to Julia's Steaming Up Questions page on her Twitter account. And Twitter is one of my greatest sources of professional development. And her examples every day, she's always posting something new. Just take a peek at this one. So she is creating puzzles with all of these different dominoes, or just using these different shapes to solve word problems and brain just teasers. Phenomenal. Just another example from her site as well. So I hope you will jump on these examples and again, copy, share, make sure to tag us if you try any of these out, because we can't wait to see your ideas. Okay, Monica, back to you.
You guys did an awesome job on that. I loved it. I didn't know, Jason, that they had added a text feature, and like that's exciting to me. And thank you guys both for sharing so many great templates and so many ideas. If you're using Jamboard, share out what you're doing. Tag us in it on Twitter or share it on Facebook, and let's start sharing some of the things that we do. Jamboard's a great way, especially the piece that it's built into Google Meet. So you can actually go over to the corner and start a Jamboard session right in a Google Meet and start collaborating and brainstorming. Great tool. Thank you guys for sharing. That was incredible. There are no questions on the back channel document, but if you have any, or you'd like to share out maybe some templates that you've created, feel free to share those in our back channel document or post them on Twitter or Facebook. Next month, we're not having a regular meeting like this. We're actually going to do something a little bit different. We're doing 12 days of tech. So each day, starting on December 1st, each weekday, we're going to share just a quick 3-minute video or so of a Google tool, tech tip, trick, idea that you can use. So those will be pretty exciting, and we'll wrap up before Christmas break for everyone. So if you have any ideas or would like to see anything in our 12 days of tech, please feel free to share those with us. Maybe you've got a quick 3-minute tech tutorial video that you think is really good and your teachers love it and you want to share it with us to share out with people. We'd be happy to include yours in there. So like I said, we're not having a formal meeting in December, but we will be giving these out on Facebook and Twitter and on our YouTube channel. So stay tuned to that. And we look forward to sharing those with you. And then we're going to actually get some feedback from you coming up after December, maybe beginning of January, about what else you would like to see from GEG. So if you have any ideas or needs from us, feel free to reach out and give us some feedback. We are here to help support you. That is our big goal. That's our driving force behind GEG. So if there's anything we can do to help you as a teacher, please reach out. We would love to help. Anyone else have anything before we?
So thank you for watching. We are on Twitter and Facebook. So if you're watching this on one of those platforms, thank you for joining us later.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Have a good week.